What is going on, everybody? Luke here. In today's video we are going to be talking about PPC, or as you can see here, Amazon ads, campaigns, whatever you want to call it, but pay-per-click is what we're going to be talking about. Because when it comes to Q4, actually pay-per-click can be a great addition to capturing sales that you otherwise would not be getting if you didn't run these campaigns. Now you might be thinking, isn't this a private label? Well, predominantly yes, like it is done by private labelers to obviously get exposure, but it can be tweaked to get it to work well with Q4. Now I run this all year, but my budget for the year is relatively low, and then when it comes to Q4 I will up my budget even more than it is now when it starts to get into the peak season. So you can kind of see here my budget is £20 a day, but you can see for the month of October so far I've only spent 109 quid, so even if it has that, it's not necessarily going to make a difference. But what you can see here is I made 7 grand of sales for 109 grand spend. So you can kind of get a little bit of a feel here that even though of course that's not profit or anything, I'm only spending a relatively small amount over a month and I'm getting 7 grand of sales. Now if you want to sort of extrapolate that into like the proper Q4, meaning, you know, let's talk about mid-November to end December, you can't see, unfortunately you cannot actually go back far enough to select months, but I can go to year to date, and from memory I think I did about 50 grand of this, which related to November and December from last year. Obviously this is a little bit more of an extrapolated form, but maybe you can see here 1st of Jan. I know this. So for example, I just done this wrong. It's not year to date. That would be January lifetime is what I needed to click. So you can see here 156,000. So actually I started this in 17th of September. Here we go. Maybe we can actually work this out. 17th of September 2020. Okay, so obviously at that time I think I had £3 a day. So that's when I started testing it and getting it working. So if you want to see pretty much just what my Q4 was in terms of extra sales, all I need to do is deduct the year to date, because this is going to be from January till now. So we're just going to do rough numbers here. 83,000. Obviously then we're going to minus the full lifetime, which started here. I didn't really get proper sales sort of until October because I didn't, you know, it was brand new to me, just getting a feel for it. So we're minus 156,800. I did 73,000, so I was way under. Yeah, I said 50. So I did about 83 grand over October, November, December last year related to running ads. So I did extra sales. And you might think, well, okay, how does it work? You know, great telling me all this information, but how does it work? So I find it works perfectly and amazing on faster selling products. So for example, I have some chocolate box or something selling on Amazon, and let's say I'm doing 20 sales a day. Let's say there's other people on the buy box and it's just getting rotated. 20 sales a day maybe in October, early November, and it could be up to 100 to 200 obviously when it gets to the crazy period, but we'll talk about that in a sec. If I run ads alongside it, I can capture extra sales because, for example, let's say that I'm in the buy box, I make that 20 sales over a day. Perfect. Now, but the time that I'm not in that buy box, I can't capture any sales because I'm not in the buy box. Very, obvious needs to explain. But if you run ads, your sponsored ads will appear in front of customers' faces when you're not in that buy box, and so you can so people might go and click onto your link. It will be then obviously you that's selling it, and people can go and buy it. Of course, you can see up on the screen here. This is that action happening. People are clicking that sponsored link, which is then taking them through to me, and then they're buying. So what that means is that you can capture your organic 20 sales a day, but then you might be able to capture an extra 5 from sponsored ads. Because without that sponsored ads, they would never buy from you because you were not in that buy box at that specific time. So if they then navigated to the product page, you would not appear in the buy box, so they wouldn't buy off you. But by doing it this way, you're kind of like getting ahead of that. Yes, of course, you're not going to get the same traction in sales because obviously this won't, people will obviously mostly search for what they're looking for, but it can gain you extra sales on top of what you're getting organically. And of course, in Q4, if you're doing, let's say 200-300 units a week, as I say, from some good products, then you might get an extra 100 or 50 units sold through the ads. And of course, if you're doing that across every single product, let's say you have, you can see here, not that all of them are going to be eligible now because I might not be in stock, but I had like 940. I've had 940 in here running at any one over time. So even if it was 500, if you're getting an extra 500 sales a week or day or whatever, just one product every day. Sorry, one extra sale per product every day. It could be 500 sales a day. So it doesn't take a lot to get some decent extra sales. And you might think, okay, but it costs, but how does it really work? Is it really good? Okay, there's many instances where it's not applicable and does not work well. What I mean by that is, for example, yes, it will cost some money, but I did 70, just looking at this, 73 grand over Q4 last year. And if you want to obviously work out how much that cost me, we will go to 714. And we want to find out what the date was. We're going to obviously minus what I spent this year. I spent £1,260, getting about £70,000 of sales, £73,000 of sales. So obviously, if you were going to look at that 73 grand and go, well, how much have you made on that? Of course, obviously, I don't know right now because that's across the whole period. I don't know what, some products aren't eligible for the ads, so it's not like every single product I sell is going to be eligible and actually running those, but it will be like 60 to 80% depending on the products I have at that any specific time. So it's again not off the bat easy to identify exactly the profit on that related sales, but I know if I'm doing 73 grand of sales and let's just say I'm making crappy margins for like 6 grand or 5 grand or whatever it is, I only spent 1,260. You can make 2 grand profit on that and still make extra profit compared to not doing it at all. And the way that I found this is good is if you have a lot of stock. If you've got plenty of stock and you can keep getting more stock, then why not capture more sales? Because you can just go and replenish those products anyway, more the merrier. But in the way it's not very good is that you don't want to be paying a little amounts to get sales if you're going to go out of stock fast, because it's better just to not pay any on that product and get it almost bought for free, because it's when you get that buy box rotation. So you want to make sure that you're mixing it, you're being alert to it. So definitely when even if I have 500 units in stock, if I'm selling 100 a day and that's 5 days of supply, just natural buy box, organic purchasing, then if I can't get any stock in within that 5 days, maybe it's not worth doing the ads on that specific products. And you can go in and you can turn off. So you can yo-yo it, you can go on, off, depending on your flow of stock. Because you don't want to be paying, even if it's like 5p, 10p to get a sale, if you can just wait and get it for free. There's no point selling out now early, selling more early, which has a little bit of a cost attributed to it because of the ads, which then just be out of stock for 5 days after, where you could have just sold the ones that you paid for then. Of course it might be that you want the cash flow now, so you decide that cash flow is the most important thing for you right now, and so maybe this is a good thing. You're paying a small amount to get that sales traction faster, to get the money back quicker, because then you can buy more products because you haven't got that cash flow available to you. So that could be a perfect situation. But just looking at it roughly, it costs you 1,260 quid for like 70,000 of sales. And if you want to see how many orders that is, we can just do it quickly. So this is a lifetime. Year to date minus 9048, 7,390, something like that. So I had 7,390 products that sold at a cost of like 1,300 quid. I know it's not exact, but we don't need to know. So let's just say 7,400 units for 1,300 quid. It cost me 17p and well, you can't break it down any more than that. About 18p per on average last Q4 per extra sale that I gained traction. So, of course, if you're selling a lot of products, 18p across like thousands will add up. And so if you find that, I can't keep the flow of stock going in, then it's probably best not to actually deliver a targeted ad to that. And you can go in, you can add all your products and then unselect the ones you don't want to be applicable. And then you can change it, obviously, if you find you've got plenty of supply now and you can go and order 500 tonight, then crack on. Of course, if you find that the prep center's got issues and they can't get it in fast enough, maybe have it on, but then turn it off when you know that you just don't want to be spending extra money for no reason. And you can play around with many different, bits like that, definitely as it comes. And it's good to actually just get stuck in and give it a go. Of course, there are other specifics in terms of like targeted negative targeting budgets. You don't just go put your money in and go or anything. You have to actually select bids and stuff. I'm not going to go into that here because that is something we teach in Elite Sellers Academy. I don't want to start divulging information that others are paid for through Elite Sellers Academy monthly membership and training, webinar style, whatever you want to call it. Many of you will know what that is. But that's just one of many other things in Elite Sellers Academy that we have. And literally it was one session and you can see how many I literally just was like, oh, this is cool, let's do it myself, because Natalie Cromie was the one that was teaching it, and I generated an extra 70-something thousand for like £1,000 and a bit. And I was like, oh, one session gave me like, I don't know how many thousands of pounds of extra profit, which paid for the Elite Sellers Academy for like, anyone that joined could pay 2 years of Elite Sellers Academy for that profit, or a year or something. So of course I'm not going to go and delve into too much. I'm just giving you why PPC is really good, potentially for your Amazon business. And again, if you're not playing with a lot of stock, it's maybe not applicable for you right now, or maybe it will be selective on only some products. If you have like 30 units in stock and that's enough for X, Y, Z amount of time, maybe this isn't for you. But definitely if you've got lines or product lines that are selling more volume and you can keep getting more, this is definitely something to be looking into, or looking at potentially the Elite Sellers Academy for this, because this is something that we teach there. So that's why I'm not going to go into any further details. But it's better to be aware of something than not. Maybe it's something you want to look into further. So I'm going to leave the video there, everyone. Hope you liked it. Any comments, leave it below, and I'll see you all on the next one.